Good evening, folks. Welcome to the first of what will hopefully be a good number of what I like to refer to as Fireside Chats about your pet's health. My name is Dr. Bryan Langlois. I'm a shelter veterinarian and a member of the Pennsylvania Veterinary Foundation as well as the Pennsylvania Veterinary Medical Association. And I thought we would try a little bit of a different approach, this year in giving out information and bringing back some stuff that was a little old school and historical, along by having these, what I like to call fireside chats. For those of you of the younger generation, or the generation that will probably be viewing this, probably don't have much of an idea of what I'm talking about when it comes to fireside chats. So what I would recommend is just taking your handy little device here or your computer, and Google is a wonderful thing when it comes to things like that. You could Google it, find out what it was all about, and how President Roosevelt went about easing tensions about a lot of things with it. Google is wonderful for a lot of things. However, one thing it is definitely not okay for is trying to make self-diagnosis of your pet's health or allowing it to kind of tell you what might be wrong or not wrong with your pet. And that's kind of what we're going to start off these chats with today. January, time of New Year's resolutions. And one thing I would like everybody who sees this and to pass on to resolve to do is just do one thing, and that's make sure that your pet is examined sometime this year by a veterinarian. Doesn't have to be for vaccines, doesn't have to be anything more than a health check and just to get to know your veterinarian. And here's some of the reasons why that's really important. You want to develop some sort of relationship with your vet, and not just for the purpose, as many people think, of the vet just, oh, well, he's just going to come in, take my money, not really do anything with my animal, and, basically I'm just out $50 to $100 basically for nothing but walking through the door. That's not the point. Veterinarians go through a lot of schooling. We have a lot of educational background, we have a lot of experience background. We can see things and notice things in your animals that you are not going to be able to see. And we want to be able to catch those things particularly early to make sure that there aren't any further problems down the line that can potentially get worse and worse and worse with neglected care. Some of the things I can think of off the top of my head basically are skin and ear conditions. I, as a shelter vet, have seen so many situations where things could have been corrected much earlier had the animal been seen by a veterinarian on a regular yearly basis for a regular vaccine visit or just a regular yearly checkup that wouldn't require them to then all of a sudden be surrendered to a shelter or seeking out a shelter for lower cost care to potentially help out with a pretty severe issue. People are always talking about money. The term "an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure." Well, a cent of prevention is definitely worth dollars of cure, because you definitely don't want to have to go through the sometimes severe expense that can deal with some of these really, really long-standing conditions that could have been controlled a little bit earlier. And that's really the goal of this, is we want to develop a relationship with you. We want to be able to understand your pet, so this way if there is a problem, we have that background knowledge of what your pet was like before. We have some blood work, we have some other testing that has already been done, so we know if there's a problem or not. We know if we feel something that feels a little odd, if we had seen it before, if it had changed or not. We're not out to try to run every single test under the sun for the purpose of just making money. And I want everybody to really, really understand that. There's been a lot of stories recently in the media about how vets really are looking to charge more or just do these things for the sake of making money, and unfortunately that's really not true, and that was a very poorly produced piece of anybody that might have actually seen it. So that's kind of your task in this first installment of our Fireside Chats, is to make sure that you resolve to get your pet to the vet one time this year for an exam. Doesn't have to be for anything else. Remember, you as the owner want to be informed about everything that's going on with your animal. You want to make sure that everything that you know is of an informed nature, and only your veterinarian can provide you with that. They may offer possibilities of things like blood work, of further testing and things like that. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask them exactly what this will tell you, what this will not tell you, things along that line. Be informed, but you can only be informed by going to your vet. You cannot be informed by trusting this thing right here. All this thing is going to do is basically spit out a bunch of data at you that's going to probably lead you in the wrong direction, especially with some of the websites that are out there that have oddities that you would not even believe. So again, please resolve this this year to take your pet to the vet, even if it's not due for vaccines or anything else. Establish a relationship. Get to know your vet. Go out there and say hello. Get your pet to know your vet. And this is actually really, really important, because the more comfortable a pet feels in the veterinary office, the easier it is going to be for us to diagnose that animal, the easier it is it's going to be to work with that animal, and God forbid if there's an emergency, again, we have that relationship with your pet. Your pet knows us a little bit. It'll feel less stressed. The hospital experience will be a lot kinder for them. So just keep that in mind as you go through this year and checking off your resolutions one by one. You're going to see a lot of me in the coming months as far as these fireside chats. Obviously, I'm next to a fireplace right now. I'd probably get in a little bit of trouble if I tried to start a fire in a fireplace that's not meant to do it, so you're just going to have to use your imagination a little bit. But hopefully, we want to reestablish some of that connection that has probably been lost between the public and the veterinarian. They are a very valuable resource to the community, to your pet, and everybody else, in the public. So again, make sure to resolve to take your pet to the vet one time this year for an exam. We're going to be covering a lot of different topics as we kind of go through things as the months progress. Certain things such as dental care, vaccines, ear, skin care, certain topics that may jump up depending on the month of the year and what might be an awareness topic of that month. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to email me at any time at shelterdoc38@yahoo.com. Maybe one of your questions will pop up in a future segment. And again, hope you enjoy these chats and where they take you. And again, the whole goal is education. An educated person can make a much better informed decision than somebody that's traveling, basically using Dr. Google, as we say. So visit your vet, establish a relationship, and we hope to see you in an office soon. And I'll be back throughout the year with various other fireside chats. Again, maybe we'll have a log in there or something like that to make it a little more real. But and for those of you that don't know about fireside chats, go ahead and use Google for that, but don't use Google to try to diagnose your pets. Again, my name is Dr. Bryan Langlois. Hope you've enjoyed it so far, and hope you enjoy where we're going to take this. We're going to have a lot of fun with it. So I will see you next time.